Continuing in Descartes' Discourse on Method, now in part 2, in this Hackett edition, we're on page 9, we come to, I think I want to say, false humility. We come to another an interesting instance of false humility on Descartes' part, and I may have difficulty not reading the whole page and commenting on it, but I suppose I should try. Descartes says, "That is why I could in no way approve of those troublemaking and restless personalities who, called neither by their birth nor by their fortune to manage public affairs, are forever coming up with an idea for some new reform in this matter. If I thought that there were in this writing the slightest thing by means of which one might suspect me of such folly, I would be very sorry to permit its publication. My plan has never gone beyond trying to reform my own thoughts and building upon a foundation which is completely my own." So he's saying, I'm not one of those people who's telling everyone else how they should live and how they should think. I'm just telling you what I tried to do to formulate my own thoughts. Sounds humble enough. And if my work having pleased me sufficiently, I here show you a model of it. It is not for this reason that I would wish to advise anyone to imitate it. Perhaps those with whom God has better shared his graces will have more lofty plans, but I fear that even this one here may already be too daring for many. Okay, so he's talking himself up so much, even as he says, I'm not important, I don't matter. He says in the same breath, and it's hilarious, it's rhetorically marvelous, it's maybe upsetting and rude. He says in the same breath, what I say here is not important, I'm not telling you how you should think or how you should live, but he's also saying, while I don't have any of these lofty plans to tell other people how to think or how to live, I am establishing my own thought all by myself. I don't need anyone else to help me think. I don't need to inherit any ideas from anyone else. And this is the guy who says, I'm a good Catholic. I revered our theology, but I don't need anyone to tell me how to think. I'm establishing my own thought all independently. It's really actually kind of outrageous that he says this, and hilarious that he says this in the same breath as he tells other people, I'm not able to tell you how to think. He's acting all humble with respect to what he doesn't say to anyone else, and he's acting amazingly, maybe I shouldn't say arrogant, but at least bold and self-assertive with respect to his ability to think all by himself and not need anyone else to help him at all. I should mention briefly that he says that this book he's giving us is a model of his work. His work is a new method in thinking, an attempt to establish knowledge on a solid foundation, and the book here is a model of it. So, as I've said before, I'm not convinced by any means that we need to call him a liar, but we do have grounds to be suspicious. He may not be telling us any outright lies in this book, but he sure is being sneaky with what he says, what he leaves out, and how he chooses to say what he says. All right, so I'm not gifted by God with the ability to tell everyone else how to think and live, but at the same time, I have the ability to reinvent human thought and give us knowledge for the first time, the first philosophical progress in Socrates, and give a knowledge that even a millennium of Catholic philosophical theology has not given us, more than a millennium at this point. I don't have lofty plans with respect to how I treat anyone else, but good grief, he's got some lofty plans with respect to what he thinks he can do by himself. Now, here is the most important thing with respect to understanding the method of this book. The most important thing in this video, I mean. The single resolution to rid oneself of all the opinions to which one is heretofore given credence is not an example that everyone ought to follow. The world consists almost exclusively of two kinds of minds for whom it is not at all suitable. We'll talk about those kinds of minds in a moment, but the single resolution to rid oneself of all the opinions to which one has heretofore given credence, that's his plan. Pretty bold. I believe we mentioned it. Yeah, we did mention it in the last video. This will come up again. This is the method. This is the method for finding absolute certainty. Get rid of everything, I believe. until I find absolute certainty in one thing that I can't get rid of because it's 100% certain. That's his plan. And then use that new certain belief as the foundation for knowledge. That's his plan. Build up some knowledge from that. And maybe restore a lot of the old opinions that I'd doubted, particularly the ones that I want to look like I'm keeping, like God, the immortality of the soul. I'm a good Catholic, says Descartes. But the new system of thought he's going to give us is not going to be all that much like old Catholicism. Again, you can search for Philosophy Shorts, Denham and Descartes, where I talk about this. All right. So I just wanted to reiterate, as he's reiterating in here, the plan is to rid himself of all the opinions to which he has heretofore given credence in a systematic effort to find certainty in one opinion. In theory, maybe more than one if he finds more than one, but he's only going to find one opinion that he can't get rid of because it's 100% certain. All right, that's the plan. Now, the world is almost entirely filled up with people who are not suited to systematically rid themselves of all their opinions to find the one certain opinion. First, there are those who, believing themselves, I don't even know if I need to read this. There are those who, believing themselves more capable than they are unable to avoid being hasty in their judgments, etc. Second, there are those who have enough reason or modesty to judge they're less capable, distinguishing the true from the false, and certain others by whom they can be instructed. Let me just summarize this. All right. Descartes' plan is to rid himself of all his opinions in order to find one opinion that he can't get rid of, that can be an absolute certain belief, that can be the foundation for knowledge in the future. And the world consists almost exclusively of two kinds of minds for whom it is not at all a suitable plan. Most people can't do this plan. What sort of people should do this plan? Basically, he says there are those who are naive dogmatists, people who think they know more than they do. And then there are people who are less intelligent, who should just trust smarter people to do it for them. That's I think that's the gist of the two kinds of people the world almost exclusively consists of. I'll pass over his observations on the French, the Germans, the Chinese, and a fourth category, the cannibals, and how even down to the styles of our clothing, the same thing that pleased us 10 years ago, now seems to us extravagant and ridiculous, thus it's more custom and example that persuades us than any certain knowledge. This is stuff he's gone over in part one. We don't have knowledge as is, but we can rephrase what he said. He says, I have this single resolution to rid myself of all my opinions, and then find a new certainty, a new foundation for knowledge in one belief that I can't rid myself of because it's not an opinion, it's unambiguous, 100% certain fact. And the world consists almost exclusively of naive dogmatists who aren't wise enough to do this, and relatively less intelligent people who are not capable of doing this, and then who should trust others to help them think. And we could rephrase this by saying the world consists of three types of people. One, the naive dogmatists who aren't wise enough to know what they don't know. Two, the less intelligent people who aren't capable of figuring out knowledge for themselves, at least not being trailblazers in the area. And then three, me, Descartes. I'm the third kind of person. I'm the person who can do this. So again, there is this remarkable humble tone Descartes presents his story of his pursuit of knowledge, and he presents it in this really humble tone. But he's also saying these amazingly bold things about his own abilities, and I think it's just hilarious. Anyway, we'll do more Descartes next time. Thanks for watching.